I'd like to call the Tuesday, June 21st, 2022 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. It is 9:02, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Drum Osborne, lead us, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Public comments. I do not have any public comment cards. Nobody on social media. Amanda, does your friend there have any comments in the public? Would you like to speak? No? All right. Let's move on to claims. Approval by Clerk Treasurer Barthone.
Okay, we have civil city payroll in the amount of $473,865.81.
I move to approve the civil city payroll.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
We have civil city claims in the amount of $577,275.85.
I move to approve the civil city claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
We have water claims in the amount of $278,095.70.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
And we have sewage claims in the amount of $681,749.72.
I move we approve the sewage claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Let's move to ticket fines appeal.
I apologize for the late notice on this. Last night, Mr. Eric Snyder came into my office and received a statement from us recently that showed he still had an open ticket that was issued on April 12th of '22. He showed us that he paid the county, unfortunately, on April 12th, so he tried to pay his ticket. He did pay a ticket. He did pay something. It wasn't his ticket to the county. Unfortunately, we are not the ones to remedy that, so he's going to work with the county to get his funds back, but he did yesterday pay our payment process through our payment processing center, PayGov, for the ticket in full. So he's asking Board of Works, he couldn't be here today, he has to work. He's asking Board of Works to waive the penalties on that initial ticket. He thought it was paid until he received the statement.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
It seems to me like he did, small mistake, right? But did everything appropriate, and I love the fact that you kind of added in here that kind, considerate, try to do the right thing.
He was really nice to deal with, yeah.
Should we make him sit through a government refresher class?
We do have the
I know,
QR, we
Eric,
do have the
so-
QR code on the tickets now, so you can scan your phone onto the ticket and it takes you straight to the payment portal, so that should make things easier.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Well, if everybody in the room does not recognize or realize, LaPorte is certainly the place to be on the 4th of July. And it's an exciting place that everybody wants to be at for all the exciting times and to show our patriotism for all that have served and protected our freedom. So this has become an annual occurrence because there's no better place than LaPorte to be on the 4th of July. And I would like to ask Drum Osborne and as well the two sisters back here, Ziegler sisters, to move forward to the front here. And I would like to stand in front here and read this proclamation on behalf of the state of Indiana. Forward, ladies. Like your hair. Change the color.
Proclamation.
We have this proclamation that I will read. State of Indiana, Executive Department, Indianapolis, proclamation. To all to whom these presents may come, greetings. July 4th is a day set aside for celebration and renewed dedication to the principles of our priceless American heritage. And whereas the mantle of responsibility for the continuation of our free nation rests on the shoulders of every American citizen. And whereas the strength and progress of our nation will remain strong only through the continued vigilance, education, and commitment to the preservation of our precious national legacy of liberty and justice for all. And whereas, as citizens of the 19th state to be admitted to the Union, Hoosiers are enthusiastic participants and celebrants of this National Day of Independence. And whereas the LaPorte JCs seek to encourage such recognition and respect for the traditions and principles of our American heritage by sponsoring an annual celebration of our National Declaration of Independence. Now therefore, I, Eric Holcomb, Governor of the State of Indiana, do hereby proclaim July 4th, 2022 as LaPorte as capital for the day in the state of Indiana, and invite all citizens to duly note this occasion by the Governor, Eric Holcomb. So I'd like to say, first of all, things become constant, and I apologize. We will make sure the state updates like we sent them. This is not the JCs, but Kiwanis. And if we give a round of applause, hold this. Would you like a photo? I would love hold that.
Oh, yeah, it might be better.
We are so fortunate that Kiwanis has stepped up. And that the Ziegler ladies have taken on this responsibility for our community, because without them, we'd all be in a lot of trouble.
Yes,
Is that
we
fair
would.
to say?
Yes, we would.
Can we give everybody here coming around to the microphone and give everybody kind of an update of what's happening July 4th? All of you ladies, Joy, Dawn, stay up here.
Well, we're gonna have a parade at 10 o'clock. So it'll be nice to be a little bit more back to normal. I know last year was weird for everybody because it's on a Sunday, so we move it back for the timing, but back to 10 o'clock. Same as usual, roads close around 8:30 for the race to begin, maybe 9. 5K race will be going, and then the parade will start at 10 o'clock with hopefully a flyover that we're still working on, so no one has to ask if we're going to have a flyover. We're still working on it. Hopefully something will be in the air. And we have several applications in. We're going to try to keep it. I'd like to keep it around the same amount as we had last year because the timing was good. It was just the right amount to keep people interested, keep everyone there. If it's going to be hot like it's been, I want to make sure that we're still out before the heat of the day. So with that being said, I still need an application from the mayor and the police chief for your parade application.
I don't know what's going on with the police chief.
I
We'll
know.
get on him.
I know.
I just add that the application deadline was Friday. No, I just want,
Application on Friday.
this year's theme, America Proud, LaPorte Proud, just really allows us to tie in nationally while we're here, but the great pride that LaPorte puts forward for the 4th of July. I want to say thanks to the city. I want to say thanks to the number of sponsors. We've completely changed the way the last 2 years, how we fund the parade. So it's been a great opportunity to be an ambassador of the community, some great fundraising, not only support the parade, but it's gone back to helping to fund 5 AEDs for city patrol cars. So
That's
looking
great.
forward to it. Another great parade, and at least 2 more applications coming in for entries.
Dawn, will there be a race before?
Yes, there will be a race before, and actually Mike just corrected us on that. It's going to be at 8:30, the race for Riley. So that'll be the kickoff of the parade.
Not Mike Riley.
What?
Race for Riley, not for Mike
Not
Riley.
for Mike Riley, yeah.
Great call.
Riley Hospital,
Riley
Children's
Hospital,
Hospital.
Children's Hospital. And yes, the flyover, all the paperwork, all that has been in. I've kind of been taking that on, so I just actually checked in this morning, still showing them, we were eligible right away. We're hoping for the 122nd Wing Fighter out of Fort Wayne. I have some calls and emails into them. Usually we hear end of this week is about the normal time frame. But as soon as we know, we'll definitely let everybody know so we can get the PR out for that.
Who do you work through at the government for the
Flyover?
flyover?
Flyover.
Yeah.
So it kind of starts, there's a form, it's called the DD 2535, we fill out, it goes to the FAA. They approve it first. And then from there, I submit it to the United States Air Force, usually go Navy, we send them to all of them, Marine Corps and Army. Normally Air Force, Navy, sometimes Army will come back with an approval. I did not hear from Navy this year, but then it's all, actually once all that's done, it's up to you. And it's up to you to call. They'll give you a list of, like Air Force bases, and you just got to start calling and seeing if you get anybody to take it. With the 122nd being Air National Guard, typically we've always been very, very fortunate to have them so close because they're in Fort Wayne, and they've supported us throughout the years. We've been very fortunate to have some local pilots that have been, enlisted with the Navy, and we were able to tag off of them for many years with pilots that they knew that talked LaPorte up. That's how you kind of do it. That's how you get some of them, the ones that we can actually come, get them to stay here. Explain that to Drum. There's a little more to that. You want to invite their family and all that to come, and we'd love to be able to do that. So if anybody is out there, has any family or anybody that's currently enlisted with the Navy, we would love to entertain them and welcome them here to LaPorte and to do our flyover. So that's kind of a little background of how that works.
The Top Gun stuntman for Tom Cruise is from Plymouth. I wonder if we
Oh,
can.
really?
Yeah.
Actually, we did speak with his mother.
Well done.
As soon as we heard it, I think within hours of that came out, we were like, okay, who do we know in Plymouth? We got some connections. And due to Carrie Campbell at Hatfield, she's like, oh my God, my best friend, that's her sister's mom. I'm like, it was like quick. We reached out, she responded right back and said that, oh my gosh, I know he would love to, but he had left on that last Sunday. He is actually in Japan. He and his wife just moved to Japan, and he is stationed on the USS Ronald Reagan at this time. So, but we're definitely going to keep that as a contact. Hopefully, when he comes back to the States, I said, what a neat way to kind of maybe have him come and welcome him back. So.
Well, and the other part, having the opportunity to spend a few minutes with Governor Holcomb yesterday, he said he appreciates our overwhelming interest in having him be at the parade, and he is guaranteeing that he will be here next year for the parade.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so the pressure must start by our community to not let him off the hook, but he has assured us he will be here for the 4th of July parade.
That's
So let the
great.
pressure begin.
Let it begin, absolutely. Well, great. Anybody else, any other questions?
Are you looking for any volunteers? What else do you need? Does Kiwanis need anything?
Volunteer-wise, I think we're okay the morning of with staging. Obviously with, you guys out there.
Amazingly, my application's being sent to you right now. Isn't that great?
Get you in, we'll get you in. And I think we have our groups lined up for trash boxes in the morning. That might be an area if there's volunteers that want to come help. I think they start that about 6:30 in there. But I think we're going to be okay. I think we're.
I'd add one thing. This is kind of a quick shameless plug for Kiwanis. But as our membership has grown and we look back at last year where we could have used more volunteers, it was on the parade route.
Yes.
So when the JCs were in full force with 50-plus memberships and whatnot, they were able to be out there along the parade route, so if there's any hiccup, there was somebody there other than law enforcement, because you guys can't be everywhere. So we've got a parade meeting coming up this Thursday at our regular meeting, starting at 5:30, Thursday at the Civic. We transition into parade conversation shortly after 6 o'clock, and that'll be the time that we'll round up volunteers. But, certainly if we could have an extra body here or there on the corner, we'll give you a nice orange shirt. Enjoy the parade for what it is, but just be empowered that if you see something, to step forward or to know where the closest law enforcement person is from one corner to the next. So that would be a gap for us to fill.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah, obviously we want to, the whole thing is to keep it smooth and not have gaps. And I know last year we had a situation where we had quite the gap with one of the horses that got a bit tangled up in his mouth. So even with local police or anybody, if you have our information, you have our contact information, if you see something like that on the route, it's to get them off. If we can, at least get them off to the side and keep everybody else going. And that was really the only big hiccup I think we had last year. So we want to try and remedy that this year with just having some eyes out there for us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Look forward to it. Have a great day.
Awesome.
And the
Thanks,
best
guys.
news is, we tell everybody you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting if you don't like. We will move to department heads. Andrea Smith, Human Resources.
Good morning, board members. Andrea Smith, Director of Human Resources. I just have two reminders this morning. On July 13th at 11:30 a.m., we are going to have a Medicare seminar, which is free. So if someone in your family, spouse, yourself is close to Medicare age, please stop at 11:30 a.m. here in this room. You will also be able to meet one-on-one with the Medicare specialist. And again, this is a free event, very informative. Medicare can be overwhelming for people. So please stop and let us help you, guide you through the Medicare process. And then it's confirmed, Jet Dental will be here on August 23rd. The pop-up clinic will be held at the Civic Auditorium. Department heads, please encourage your employees to attend. Again, like we said yesterday, oral health goes with, physical health as well. So please encourage your employees to attend, get a nice teeth cleaning, fresh breath for the summer, and, we're here to help all the employees. So if you have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, very much.
Craig Phillips, Plan.
Good morning, members of the board. So work continues on the city's parking study. We're hoping to wrap that up and receive the initial comments back from the consultants in the next several weeks. In addition to that, I'm continuing to work with the city engineer on ongoing efforts to design the first phases of the Monroe Street streetscape project. In addition to that, I will be working on putting out for the third time the public offering. I'm working with Attorney Otis on putting out the public offering for the Don George property, so that'll be coming to the board here within the next month. Well, it'll be going out, I should say, for notice within the next month. And other public offerings for the 18th Street will follow. 18th Street property for the housing development at that site will follow. And then I'm also working along with other members of our team. We're making progress on the city's partnership with Healthcare Foundation on the housing study that we're doing for the city. So we're working on providing them with all the information they need to, over the course of the next couple months, put the initial findings with regard to that study, which will focus. It's a citywide study, but it will also focus on the near downtown neighborhoods, east and west of City Hall, as well on some revitalization efforts and efforts to provide for better housing in those areas of the city. So.
Craig, can I say one thing? Thank you very much. And again, it didn't affect you, weren't with the city of LaPorte, but the great work as we saw the groundbreaking yesterday. the fantastic work you did as a part of the double track, not only in Michigan City, but also downstate to make sure that legislation passed, because Craig was a very important part of the double track, getting that passed, and without your help, it would have been a struggle, not only at a local level, but downstate as well.
Oh, thank you.
So, thank you. Beth West, Transport.
Good morning. Yesterday, we started a summer promotional that we're trying to get more riders. We are selling 10 punch passes for $20, whether you're a general or a senior, and you will get a 11th ride for free. This goes on now till Labor Day. We've already sold, as of yesterday, we've already sold 27 passes.
Oh, great.
So people are very, very excited about it. A lot of our workers are excited about only having to pay $20 to ride. So we're excited that people are energized to be riding. As of right now, we've had 2,000 riders for the month of June. The last 2 months, we've had 3,200. So we're right on track to have another successful month of ridership.
Questions? Thank you. Mark Schreiber, Park Department.
Morning. Happy official start of summer. So, as you can imagine, this time of year, I could probably stand here for about an hour, but I won't do that. But I do want to take this opportunity to thank the Kiwanis Club. Of course, we just had some representatives here, as well as our police department, fire department, for being at Ben Reese Park on Saturday. We had a terrific community event. Kiwanis Club served up lunch, hot dogs, chips. The fire department was there with an engine that the kids got to get a little tour of, and the police were there to greet people and to talk with the crowd. We also had some of our summer playground staff there to run games for the kids. It just turned out to be a great event, and immediately after, Kiwanis was asking what other parks can we do. So we're going to continue to do some neighborhood park outreach and some community programs, so pretty excited for that. I want to remind everybody about the July 4th fireworks. That'll start at 9:15 on the 4th of July. They'll be shot over Clear Lake. There are places to park throughout Fox Park. This will be at the conclusion of the LaPorte County Symphony, who will be starting their concert at 7:30 at the Dennis F. Smith Amphitheater. It's going to be just a great night, and we want to thank Flaherty and Collins Properties for being the exclusive sponsor of these fireworks. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do the show, and it's going to be on par with last year's Lake Fest, which was just a terrific a show by Pyrotechnics here located here in LaPorte County. So we're pretty excited for the show, and we'll have more information out as we get a little closer. A couple just other quick notes. There was an article in the Herald Dispatch about the new beach house policy where we are prohibiting private parties on the deck. So for those people that only read the headlines and not the actual story, there is a reason for that. Basically we've had a lot of people coming, setting up birthday parties, family reunions on the beach house deck, and that causes problem with people getting to the restrooms, getting to the concession stand. Our lifeguards need to get to the lifeguard room. So we just want everybody to know the beach house deck is for everybody, for the full public. So we're not allowing any private parties to come there early and get set up. So I want people to know that in advance, so if they were thinking of having a party out there anytime soon. And then also on Stone Lake, we will have our kayak rentals starting this week. That is be done off of an app, $20 an hour to take a kayak out on Stone Lake, or paddle wherever you want to within the chain of lakes there. And a real exciting opportunity, but we'll have information up on our Facebook page and our website here as it goes active. It may go active as early as tomorrow, so pretty excited to be able to offer those kayak rentals right out there, right across from the kayak launch.
And Mark, I really want to thank you for your work with the public. 3 years this has been coming with all the public input for 3 years at different meetings, and the park board approved it. So it was a great partnership with the public, having the opportunity to share their thoughts and make sure their voice was heard as a part of the kayak lockers. And so thank you for opening it up and working with the public on that.
No, absolutely. The process started in 2019 with the Soldiers Memorial Park Master Plan, and it's just been a process ever since then. So we're really excited. We're excited for the partners we've been able to have. The LaPorte Park Foundation is partnering with us on the rentals. Of course, the Healthcare Foundation on the accessible kayak launch and the trails and all the other things that we've been able to do in Soldiers Memorial Park. So real pleased with the progress, and we've got more to come. We'll be starting some more trail work here in the fall to take the Stone Lake Trail from the beach house to Waverly Road. And then we'll be also looking to extend it next year from Craven to Orchard. So a lot of exciting things happening out at the Stone Lake Beach and Soldiers Memorial Park. So thank you.
Perfect. Nick Minnick, Engineering.
Just to build on what Mark had mentioned, I did want to say thank you so much to the Healthcare Foundation. We did receive several grants this year, and we call the Soldiers Memorial Park South Sub Area Phase 1. A lot of words, but breaking down the Soldiers Memorial Park master plan, about half of the south sub area is what we're focusing on for this first grant. So we're really excited about that, and again, Craven to Orchard Trail, and then some other amenities. So very, very excited, very appreciative of Healthcare Foundation. The other project we'll be working on is in coordination with the Healthcare Foundation grant would be we call it the LaPorte Proud Slicer Pathway, but essentially the ability to fill in the gaps where there is an adequate sidewalk or pathway between the high school and middle school campus. So we really want to make sure that students have the opportunity to, one, walk between the two campuses and walk to school. So very big project. It's a challenge. We don't have the ability to fund sidewalk gaps very often, so being able to reach out and partner with HFL is just a real great thing for the city. Because again, sidewalk gaps become a challenge as far as how we need to handle our sidewalks per our agreed order with the board.
And I just want to show you, even this morning, I took a picture of two people walking on the street along the cemetery and cars getting to work all over. They were in a compromising position, so I think that's going to be a fabulous path that'll connect.
Yeah, and again, with the agreed order we have with the port, sidewalk gaps are the last thing that the city is supposed to be prioritizing. So the only way that we can kind of be able to do these projects is going out to other organizations and agencies and trying to find additional funding, because using our local dollars to fill these gaps is really not in accordance with our agreed order with the port to make sure all sidewalks are ADA accessible for the city. And then also we're still on track for an August letting for Chessie 2, so reletting the Chessie 2 project. Engineers did a nice job kind of making some changes and doing some adjustments, and then we were able to get hopefully enough funding to make sure that that project is awarded and starts construction yet this year. And street paving's ongoing. Keep paving streets too.
Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. I just want to say thanks to all who came out for the 50s Cruisin', and a special thank you especially to LaPorte Seamless Gutter and Ben Conowitz. It sounded like, I wasn't there, but it sounded like the event went really, really well. Brett Benversi did awesome for his first event, so that's great. The next Friday Night Live event is Taco Fest. It's July 8th, and that's a rescheduled event, and that one's brought to you by Arnett Construction, so a big thank you to Derek Arnett. Happy to be working with the police department's new public information officer, Captain Metcalf. He's really excited about the new role and is doing great. Making sure we get information out in a timely manner from the police department is a big deal, and so it's instrumental to have somebody, in the field who's able to answer questions quickly. Finally, shameless plug, but for the first day of summer, it's a good time to be thinking about new summer City of LaPorte merch. We've got towels, men's and women tank tops, and then thanks to Mayor, we also have like an athletic quarter zip for the colder days. So you can check that out at liveinthelakelike.org and click on the lake shop.
For golfing.
Jess, also, you've updated the public, but the railroad, it's very difficult with the crossings. They're doing work. They didn't show up last week and decided not to inform us until we called out to them at 8 o'clock on one evening and said, oh, we forgot, yeah. So we hope that they're going to be coming this week, I think.
Yes, I've gotten a lot of comments, wanting to know, when is it happening? Why didn't we let people know sooner? We can only post the information that is given to us. We have no control over what the work the railroad does. We can only share it as they share it with us. So I do my best to get information out to the public as soon as possible, but just know, we're sharing stuff as we receive it. So we're also kind of waiting for more information, but we're doing our best.
Thank you. Kelly Burke, LaPorte Fire.
Good morning. The Merit Commission has just certified our hiring list. We have 18 new applicants on that list, and that'll be good through April 30th of 2024. And letters went out last week notifying each applicant of their place on the list.
Chief Breton.
With the tragedy in Texas, we thought it was very important that we get, with our young department, we start active shooter training. Mandated that before the start of the school year, so we're going to start working on that along with Michigan City. And also, as Mr. Schreiber said, on the Ben Reese, we actually got the UTV that was, we got through the Healthcare Foundation grant. It's all set up. We got AED in there. We have it decaled. They actually use that. We have pictures of children getting in and out of it. They love it. One of our officers used it Friday night and snuck up on some people in the park with it. He says, fantastic, it's so quiet. So it's being put to use. We're logging the miles on it. It's amazing how much we've used it, and zero fossil fuel to use it.
If you need any volunteers for late night on that thing, we'd be glad to help you here.
Well, we'll have it in the parade, and I know we're having the disagreement on who's going to drive it.
Jeff Batchelor, Streets/Code.
We're hauling milling still. We're doing a lot of painting and striping throughout the city, mowing the grass throughout the city for the city properties, and we're also street sweeping downtown, getting ready for the 4th of July too. Code, we're just out taking care of what we do.
So on the painting, can we remind the public, when our guys are on Lincoln Way, even with the protection that they have, people are not making the change in lanes necessary and putting our guys at risk?
Yeah, yesterday we were downtown on Lincoln Way. We had the aero board behind our people where they were painting, and we almost got hit twice out there. And it's just people not paying attention and being on cell phones and that. And actually, we pulled the guys off the street just because it was unsafe. And we're even trying to go out earlier in the morning just so there's less traffic out there. So just be careful, watching, be observing what's going on around the city when you're out there driving.
Nick Otis, Legal.
Nothing from legal today.
Jerry Jackson, Wastewater.
Monroe Manor is continuing. We've had some challenges when you pave a whole, run of street 2 or 3 blocks. Where does everyone park? But people have been very understanding. They know this is a short-term thing to put new infrastructure in and improve the neighborhood. The completion date's still scheduled toward the end of July, so we'll have her done. We're looking at the HRP is using Alsea Park's parking lot as their staging ground, and we've, of course, kind of used it to, it's war, but we're going to put it back right and better than it was at the end of the job. So Alsea Park will see some improvements. KDM is proceeding on the phosphorus project. They are turning out to be a very conscientious, meticulous contractor. Everything's just right, and that's awfully nice to see. They poured the building floor for the chemical storage area yesterday. That's going well, so I'm pleased with that. We've been talking with Surf Broadband about getting our remote alarming moved over to fiber, talking about what kind of deal we can get on that. We've got 33 remote sites, so getting them on fiber would be really sweet. Now they're mostly on cell, but we've still got some legacy radio ones that we haven't converted to cell yet. So I'm hopefully getting good communications. If get struck by lightning, you got a danger of maybe having a sewer back up into a basement, or I've had them hit by cars. You really need that alarming to make sure your pump stations are running correctly.
And we're excited that hopefully we can get together with Surf on even a more corporate deal, department-wise.
That'd be great.
So we're excited.
That would be great. All right.
Tim Warner, Water.
Thank you and good morning. Construction crews are finishing up on 3rd Street. Right now we had, I think 6 or 7 intersections that had broken valves. I know I've preached a whole broken valve replacement. So since 3rd Street is on the paving list, we've been in there replacing the valves. And I'm going to jump on with Jeff too. We've had some issues with people going around our road closed signs and cones. We actually had a car drive by us with our cones underneath it. So I just asked the public to pay attention. We put big orange road closed signs, put cones on both sides of them, tried to keep the area open for the residents that live in that block. And I think we're going to have to start totally closing the road down and not letting anybody into that area, whether they live there or not. And just for crew safety, we've been having a lot of problems with it lately. People just not paying attention to construction signs. And, not only safety for our guys there, but, we have 5-foot, 5x5 holes in the road. That's why we close the road down, so a car doesn't end up in it. So I would like the public to pay a little more attention to that, just for safety for our guys and themselves. We met with Habitat for the Timba Bakery site, showing them where the water supply is out there for the houses, sent them a will serve letter. So that is moving forward. Exciting stuff there. Let's see. We got everybody back to work. We had 3 guys out with COVID in the last 2 weeks. They're all back to work, back to a healthy department. So that's always a good thing. Last Board of Works, we had our water general, our portable fill station ordered. So that is ordered. And I know, Mark, you had some questions. I just pulled some numbers real quick. So the year before, we sold about 70,000 gallons there. Last year, in 2021, we sold 2.2 million gallons through the portable fill station. A lot of that has to do with the boring project that's here in town. Those guys use a lot of water. But just kind of put things in perspective for you. That numbers keep going up. That's why we feel it's good to have that water station there to protect us. Other than that, still doing cross training through the department. I feel that's an important part of the water department, where our construction guys can come in and cover the operator shift, especially when we have COVID going through, around. We're manned 24 hours a day at the plant, so it's important to have as many people as possible to cover those shifts if something happens. And that's all I have this morning. Thank you.
Questions for department heads? We can all take a picture of Nick Minnick leaving because he doesn't have for the first time ever on the agenda. But if you would, afterwards, I've connect with you and Jerry for a quick minute after. So if you go down, look for it to come back up. All right, let's move to new business, by the way. Department heads, if you need to go, enjoy your day.
See ya.
Request for use, St. John's School, Andy Renner.
There's nobody here for either of these requests. The St. John's School request is to close a block right in front of their thrift shop to celebrate their 50th anniversary of being there. They do not plan to close any intersections, so it'll just be the block of A Street between 2 intersections. So Alexander will still be open to A Street, and I think it's at 3rd Street will still be open. So there will be nothing closed in between. It's basically a half a block right in front of the thrift store, and there are no driveways, there's no access to anybody's business or home. And they did talk to their neighbors.
Great. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. 3rd Street is between the theater and the old hospital.
Correct.
And that won't need to be closed off?
No intersections will be closed.
Probably a small.
Yes, it's a small area.
Neighbors, no real issues brought up? Okay.
No issues, according to them, yeah.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Nick Otis, letter of engagement. Oh, yes.
Andrew Renner is, actually, it's the animal control on Highway 2 that's requesting to use Plaza 618. They're not shutting it down. It's a public event. It'll be an animal adoption event combined with Mucho Mas and Downtown Delights. Will be having give back
that's awesome.
times for purchases for the donating to the animal shelter. And there will be no animals there because of it being July. They're worried about the heat. But
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. It always works well when the animals are there, even for a little bit of
They
time.
like to do it, but they're worried about the heat and the noise of the traffic. They're just a little worried about the animals. Some of them are a little skittish.
Yeah, that's understandable.
That's it.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Now, Nick Otis, letter of engagement.
Yep, just, we've worked with Ice Miller on a few regulatory matters over the years, and have a couple things that we want to work with them on, coming up. So I ask for your approval on that.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Paul Breton, Laporte Save Grant.
Courtney has all the particulars. I believe it's $12,000. We
It is.
participated in this program before. It's the stop arm violation enforcement. We still have a little bit of money left that we're going to use up in August, but this will take us beyond that.
So in the school buses,
Yes, so it's for the school buses, for the violators. I guess, and we also have to remind the public that the only time they can pass in the opposite direction, it has to be a non-drivable median. So in those areas of town where it's 4-lane and there's still, if you can drive right across, you can't pass. If you have a grass median, then you don't have to stop for that stop arm.
So really, the only places in LaPorte would maybe Highway 2. I mean, it's kind of a
Yes,
little
out by
outside town, but like
Sowers.
Highway 2, that's probably the only place I can think of, right?
Right.
Yeah, because then it gets outside of town.
And 35 heading out.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Up,
yeah.
I mean.
common sense.
Right. And it's amazing how many people still violate that.
All these issues with,
These are kids. I mean, it's terrible. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
second.
Discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Pull them over, chief.
That's right.
Jerry Jackson.
Got pay request number 2 for our phosphorus removal project from KDM. The payments due is the amount of $93,618.80. That brings us to 12% of the project. As I mentioned before, we got a February next year deadline to get that thing started up and be in compliance, and this is going later than I would have liked to because of supply issues, but it'll get done in time. I recommend payment.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
I've got pay request number 8 for Monroe Manor from HRP. The amount due is $272,793.92. That brings us to 69% of the total project. And got roughly another month left of construction will be complete. I recommend payment.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
I sent an email last week to the board members about our basement grant program. I just did some looking around to see who's got programs and how they are structured. It was interesting that in 2010, when I first got going on this, there was like nobody doing this, and now there's many communities. It's kind of obvious, you don't want basement backups from a regulatory standpoint, protecting yourself from regulatory action, and of course, it's a great thing for the homeowner, so it's not surprising in retrospect, but it's kind of neat to see. Some of them I listed, and there's many. Lansing pays the first $1,000, then 75% of the rest, up to $5,000. Elkhart is half the cost. Maximum grant is $1,500. I think that one's old. That one's kind of an outlier as far as the dollars. LaGrange, Illinois is 50% of the cost. Max grant is $5,000. Cincinnati, Ohio, I've read through their page quite a number of times. They'll just pay 100% of the cost. They agree to what the project is. If everyone agrees, they do it. And they have a lot of combined sewers. I guess they're very serious about stopping basement backups. Bloomington, Illinois is 100% up to a maximum of $45,000, which I was pretty surprised with that. I kind of like Lansing's program. They pay the first $1,000, that's kind of the carrot, 75% of the next $5,000, and the max grant is $47.50. I've got an example today, a grant application bringing from the board with 1005 Plain Street. The quote for that work was $4,645. If we use the Lansing model, the city would pay the first $1,000, and then 75% of the $3,645. Add that the city would pay $3,733 of the $4,645. So $3,700 for the city, $900 for the homeowner would be the split if we use that model. I'm not married to that model, but it seems nice that it's joint and there's some skin in the game for the homeowner, but yet we got a pretty big carrot to get the homeowner to jump into the program. So I guess that'd be my recommendation, but I'm certainly interested to use the Lansing, Michigan model, but I'm certainly open to discussion.
So your recommendation, because when we talked last, you were thinking of moving it to 3,000.
I was, but after I did some research, I realized and started looking at some of the costs to do this work, 3,000 maybe is a little low.
Okay.
So is there a motion to consider?
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. Based on all the examples that you gave us, it sounds like that's appropriate. So I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation. Is it up to 70%? Can you repeat it, Jerry, for me? Sorry.
No, it's 100% of the first $1,000, 75% of the next $5,000. The maximum grant is $4,750.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, and I'll be somewhat of the Scrooge here. So, is there do we see the price? We see most of the time that they're in this range to do the necessary work.
This isn't too far out, $4,600 to $6,000, somewhere in that range. I used to always count on $2,500 for the sump pump and some of the piping modifications, and it's gone up substantially.
And doing this, where is this going to come out of, and what does that do to your fund?
That would come out of the wastewater budget. We've had 4 or 5 applications a year. We were spending $7,500. We would be more like $12,000 to $20,000 with this change if we continue on to 4 or 5 a year kind of pace. There's money in the budget to do that. I think this is well worth the goodwill we generate with it to property owners and the shielding from regulatory process.
And maybe an increase in the interest from homeowners to get it done now that maybe haven't in the past.
Might be. There's a fair number of times we go through the grant process and then they don't follow through.
Because maybe they're not able to afford the remaining, when we were only giving them $1,500, they weren't able to afford maybe the other $3,000 or $4,000.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
So what was the cap?
Cap was $4,750.
That's the city's max.
City's max, yeah, that's the city's max. $750.
So, in the overall program per year would be capped still at, because was it capped before at 20?
It was capped before at 20, but we've never even hit 20.
Okay.
So it's in our budgetary process, but we haven't had enough grant applications.
So potentially even out of the cap of 20 that we've had all along, we could, even with this change in approving these amounts,
Yes,
we would still potentially be under it anyway.
very likely, yes.
Okay.
Yep. We get more applications when we have extreme storms, when we have wet weather. We got 2 because we had that, 2 weeks ago, we had an inch of rain in 20 minutes, and that shows problems.
Sure.
Who decides when they have water in the basement that this is something that meets the need for this? Who, is that our team, is that Di or whoever?
We'll typically gotta get a call, I had a basement backup, I got a mess, and we send one of our crew, our sewer crew out, they take a look, get pictures, and at that point, they're say, hey, there's a program, so you don't have to deal with this again in the future. Here's the grant paperwork. We then meet with the homeowner and one of the local plumbers. We try to let them use the plumber they're accustomed to if they have a favorite plumber. Agree on a project, the homeowner, the plumber, and us all agree that that's the solution, and then they quote and comes to the board.
Well, Jerry's expanding his royalty outside Monroe Manor now. But I think it's good, especially in this difficult time financially with the inflation, the different things that the city is coming out to support the homeowner and the residents. So I fully support that. Any further questions?
I like the fact that there, as you mentioned, right, there's some skin in the game for a homeowner, because that would be a substantial improvement in not only the livability of their home, but the value, you know.
The resale value, for sure. They don't have to report they had this problem, or the house has this problem.
So did the motion include approval for,
No, only the grant,
Yeah.
only the grant increase.
so I do have a motion on the grant increase. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0, and we do have a grant application.
For 1005 Plain Street, as I mentioned, the cost to do that project was $4,645. The city's piece would be $3,733.75. I'd recommend approval.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor, or discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Approval of street sweeping.
That's
Okay,
really
that
Jeff's
would be me, not
project.
Jerry. I'm coming again because I came before and you guys approved it, but the time frame on it has expired, so we have to redo it again, which is kind of better for us anyway. For the landfill cost, the original one that we got through the first person was $35 a ton. This time we got a second quote, we found somebody, Lori Larson did, and it's $21 a ton, so it saved us a boatload of money. That would be the one that I recommend we go with, that's Republic. And then also with the transportation, one cost was $22.50 per ton. The other one was $20.13 per ton for travel. So I'd recommend that we go with Jaguar Trucking.
Jagged.
And that's my recommendation on that.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I can't vote on Jagged.
I'd
Okay.
separate them out. Can you vote on the first one?
On Republic? Do I have a motion for the approval of the transport
This.
of Republic Service pickup?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? And again, I know this is between you and Jerry, have worked out. Explain why it's important for the street sweepings to be hauled away.
They're contaminated with metals, with all sorts of not so great stuff, and they don't function well as fill material because they're got a lot of organics in them, so it sinks. So IDEM requires that they're landfilled, and we've accumulated a pretty good stockpile. We're working on a plan to get rid of them on an ongoing basis. So we
And
don't have
we're
this
not
kind of cost.
authorized to store them anyway. This should not been happening like it was.
So this will begin as soon as approved, basically?
Yes.
Is it any capability for us to do it in-house transportation with?
Right now, with all the millings that we're doing, that we've said to save money with engineering and that, we're just too thin to be able to take and do it.
Yeah, Jeff ran the numbers, and there's some savings, but it kind of decimates his ability to do his normal job. So,
We can, if the mayor's willing, he can hire 10 more people for the street department, and we'd be able to take and do that.
If we could find 10
I was
more
gonna say, if you have the applications, that would support that.
That's true, too.
All right, I do have a motion and a second discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. I would also like to make a recommendation to approve Jagged Truck Leasing as the hauler to the landfill. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. And this is being taken to Elkhart?
Elkhart, actually, they're 5 miles apart.
yeah, Lori did a nice job chasing these. She saved
She
us
did a great
money.
job. She did a great
Yes.
job.
So,
many
I
tons
do have a
do you-
motion and a second.
Oop.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0. Member Romaine will abstain. Thank you both for that, and we'll get those moving. I'll look forward to seeing those
Yep.
trucks moving out. Unfinished business or other business, 39 North, just as an update, we've had a great second round of meetings with homeowners that the majority seem to understand that they want to have enough fire flow pressure, fire flow, to make sure that if a home is on fire or a business on fire, that it can handle, we have enough water to put the fire out. And I think we're continuing to move forward. We've had quite a few residents come up to Nick Otis to say, how do we start the process of potential annexation in exchange for the increase in infrastructure that's been ignored for so long until we brought it to light. So we're excited there. Other than that, any other points of interest or information?
I just add to kind of what you're talking about there with the fire flow, it's also then to protect city residents, right, along the lines. So it's not just about, it's about everybody who's
Everyone.
kind of north.
Good question.
Having the ability to, be safe. So, and I would just add, I mean, we heard a couple instances today about safety on the roads. Being someone who, rides my bike, I'm out walking on the streets, in the parks. People, please, don't be on your phones. I mean, it is scary to see people swerve at the last minute, or even when you're driving, right? You're driving and somebody comes into your lane and you're swerving to avoid them, and you notice that they're like, oh, oops, stay off the phones, please.
Or you'll deal with Jerry on his bike coming by.
Yeah, that's a worry.
And if you hit me, I'm gonna do some damage. Some damage to the car, so.
That's a threat.
There's a risk there, right?
You got Mark and I or a deer, you pick, Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll have them.
We are adjourned. Happy 4th of July to everybody.
Get there now.